Welcome to WagerTalk TV. Today we are previewing the Notre Dame Irish versus the Toledo Rockets. This one has been bet down from 19.5 as the opener down to 17, and the total from 52.5 up to 56. Join with me today is Adam Trigger and Dave Cokin. Guys, this is a game I got to see a team in person last week. I was at the Notre Dame Florida State game, and like I said, I don't think Notre Dame is as good as initially expected. Now, they did have an 18-point lead in that game, so I don't want to bash the Irish too much, but playing that late prevent defense got me the cover of my 7.5 with the Florida State Seminoles, and that looks like kind of how the line's moving here. It looks like a lot of sharp money likes the dog. Adam, can I get you on board with me and the Toledo Rockets?
Yeah, Kelly, I actually like Toledo quite a bit here. It's something I'm still considering adding, but it has moved a little bit, but I would say anything down to 17.5 is probably good. A little bit of a regional rivalry. Toledo's only about 2 hours down I-80 to Notre Dame. And, I cashed a best bet with Florida State last week. I agree with you. I'm not as high on Notre Dame this year. And one of the takeaways from that FSU game was they ran all over Notre Dame, and especially in the second half of that game. Toledo has every single starter back. It's a veteran team. I know they're a MAC team, so it's a step up in class, but they're a veteran team, and they have two quarterbacks, one of which can really run the ball. So, I don't know what kind of mixture they're going to use of the two quarterbacks, but it's something I could see potentially giving Notre Dame trouble, similar to when Mackenzie Milton came into the game and gave Notre Dame some trouble last week. Seems like a big number. I think Toledo's a good enough veteran team where they're not going to be totally overwhelmed being on the road in South Bend. So, yeah, I think it's a lot of points, and I think they somehow, some way get there within 17.5.
Dave, this is a Notre Dame team that usually doesn't play, I don't want to call them a cupcake because Toledo's far from a cupcake, but I think the public perception might be that they are not as good of a football program if people do not follow that conference. Now, this is what it looks like, point blank. They play Purdue on deck. Purdue got away from Oregon State last week. We'll see how they do this week. But I feel like this could be more of a look-ahead spot, would you say, or maybe a sandwich spot coming off that FSU scare. Do you think that Notre Dame's going to come out and put up a ton of points against Toledo, or is this just kind of one of those lackluster games we're going to see from the Irish?
I was listening to Brian Kelly's post-game comments, and I think you got to, and aside from the joke he made, which was an old John McKay reference, I think he was legitimately unhappy with the way the team played defensively in the fourth quarter of that football game. I mean, look, they had that game salted away, and it was absolutely awesome to watch Mackenzie Milton come back on the field and lead the Seminoles to overtime, and who knows, had the kicker not missed a field goal, who knows what would have happened. They might have won the game. So I think Brian Kelly's got an easy sell this week in terms of his team not letting down, coming out of a big national TV win on the road against Florida State. Had it been a game where Notre Dame came from behind, that'd be an entirely different scenario. But the fact that they gave up the lead and almost lost the game, and in the process, almost lost any chance they would have had to be in the playoffs. Because, call it straight, if Notre Dame loses to Florida State last week, their season's pretty much over as far as the playoff hopes are concerned. So I think Notre Dame's going to be ready to play this game. Nevertheless, look, if that 19.5 was still out there, I'd be grabbing it. That's gone, unfortunately. The line's been bet down. I'm one who is pretty big on getting max value if I can. I don't like playing into a beat-up number. And to take 17 where I could have had 19.5, I'm not going to do it. But I graded the game at 13, so I do think, at least even with the number being where it is right now, there's still some value to be had, just not bettable value for me. But if you're asking me who I like to cover the spread in this game, it's got to be Toledo. By the way, there could be some wind issues in South Bend this weekend. That always plays into under possibilities. So bear that in mind if you're looking at the total in this game.
Yeah, especially now that we're getting 3.5 points worth of value from the opening number. Maybe we do see this one come back down. Going to keep an eye on that one. Thank you to Dave at Dave Cokin on Twitter and Adam at Top Flight SI. Make sure you guys head over to Twitter and follow both of them.